Hello and welcome back, mathletes. So you're ready for more fractions? Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about finding a common denominator. Now remember, the denominator is the bottom part of the fraction. On top we have the numerator, and then underneath we have the denominator. Denominator. I teach math, not spelling, so sometimes I make mistakes. Okay, so we have the numerator over the denominator, and there are going to be times where we are adding, subtracting, or not necessarily multiplying or dividing. When we're adding or subtracting, that we need to have the same denominator, because it's really hard to add pieces of fractions together if they don't line up and they don't quite work. So remember we said that if we had, let's say we have 1/4 1 over 4. And I was then going to make another circle. This is going to be 1/3. If I wanted to add these two pieces together, it's not as simple as just cutting the pieces up. Well, it kind of is. And we could play with the math to make it work to a point where we had all of the pieces lined up. Or we could look at making equivalent fractions. And we're going to do this by multiplying, but we're going to multiply a very special number. And I can't find my eraser. Here's my eraser. The number we are going to multiply is by 1. If I multiply any number by 1, say I have 9, and I multiply it by 1, what is my answer? It's 9. If I multiplied 99 by 1, it's 99. So any number times 1 stays that same number. 1 is a very special number that way. And now I need to ask you, what is 2 divided by 2? Why, it's 1. What is 4 divided by 4? That's 1 as well. So any number over a number is 1. That being said, if I multiplied a fraction by 4 over 4, I'm really just multiplying it by 4, and any result I get will be the exact same value. So let's back up here. If you trust me that we're going to be multiplying by 1, what I need to do is find a common denominator. And there's two ways that this really works. Okay, there's a couple other ways, but we're not going to talk about them because it doesn't apply to 7th grade, and you'll probably have a calculator by the time you ever get to that part. You guys are so lucky you don't have to go through all of high school without a calculator until like the last year. Anyway, and that's going to be called using a buddy pair. So between 4 and 3, there's no nice and easy way for me to get them to be something equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a buddy pair. I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to use it in the 3. And I'm going to multiply the denominator by 4 and the numerator by 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So this is really just multiplying by 1. So 1 times 4 is going to be 4. And then on the bottom, 3 times 4, well, that's going to be 12. So now I've changed my denominator to 12ths, but I'm still in the same value. And if you like, let's see if we can do this. So 1/3, it's 1/3 right there. But I'm going to break this into 12ths, and let's see how good Mr. Holloway is at his math. So this is going to be 6s. And then I'm going to cut each one of these in half again. And that's 12s. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them colored in. So this checks. 4/12 and 1/3 is the same thing. Well, now let's come over here, and we're going to try to get this 4 to be something that we can use. So we're going to go back to our buddy pair, and we're going to take this 3 all the way across here to the 4. And we're going to multiply the 4 times the 3, the 1 times the 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So this is now the same denominator. And we could add, we could subtract, but they're the same value they originally were. We've just manipulated them so they have the same number of pieces in the parts that we are counting. Now, I said this is one method. There is another method. Every once in a while, the numbers will line up in such a way that you don't have to use a buddy pair, but you have to keep your eyes open for them. One such instance, I had to actually think this through logically, and I wrote it down on my notes, is 5/32, and then let's look at 3/16. That's a horrible 6. There we go. So if we're looking between these two fractions and we wanted to find the common denominator, I could use a buddy pair. It's very possible that I could take this 32 and I could pull it over to the 16, and then I could take that 16 over to the 32. But that would be really, really messy and a lot of big numbers. When you're dealing with this stuff, you need to stop and just pause for a moment and think and look at those numbers and tell me, do you think there's something you can do with them? Now, if we wanted to, we could look at our factors. Let's look at the factors of 32. Well, 1 times 32, that equals 32. And I have another factor of 32. That's 2 times 16. Wait, did you hear that? 2 times 16. I have a 16 already over here. So if I wanted to make this 16 a 32, which I do, all I need to do is multiply by 2. And there's your common denominator. So you're going to multiply the 16 by 2. Anything you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. So 16 times 2 is 32. 3 times 2 is 6. The common denominator is now achieved because they are both 32. If you think about the factors of your denominator, sometimes you can find an easier way than the buddy pair. However, buddy pair will work. It will get you there. I hope this helps. Leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Is it over here or is it over here? I never know. And hit the little notification bell. Make it go ding. Other than that, leave me a comment. Let me know. Did this help? Did it not help? Let me know what you need. That's how I do my videos. And I'll see you in class tomorrow.